Hey guys, what's going on? Drewzy here, coming at you with yet another brand new video for the channel. And again, we are going to another Smite video because I'm trying to get back into Smite, like I said in my previous video, my RTO video. If you haven't checked that out, please check out that video. But again, we're playing Smite, and today in Smite, we're going to focus on a game mode. I haven't really done a breakdown of a game mode. I have focused on different gods and what different gods and different roles. But today I'm going to focus on a specific game mode, and today I'm going to focus on Assault. Assault is a game mode I'm playing a ton right now, especially with a lot of my clanmates. It's a really fun game mode. It can be very frustrating at times, however, but I'm going to give you some tips and tricks to try to be better in Assault and show you some gameplay footage at the same time. But primarily, there are some major key differences in Assault than any other game mode in Smite. Number one is the obvious one. It is random gods at the very beginning. You do not get to pick what god that you get. You just get the luck of the draw at the very beginning. But one of the nice things that they do is they allow you one reroll per character. So if you have a team of full 5 people, you can switch all the gods around. You can only switch the gods until the 10-second mark. When 10 seconds down on the clock, you cannot do anything with your god at that point. You are stuck with the god that you have. So be cautious and be diligent about making trades and changing around your characters very quickly in a match. And you can do a reroll. If you trade a character and your friend didn't reroll it beforehand, you can then reroll it yourself. So if there's a god that you know they really want or they really excel at, then you can trade yours and then get theirs and then reroll that one. So be cautious of rerolling and do it as quickly as possible. Number 2 is don't worry about team composition. Team composition is a lot different in Assault than in any other game mode. Primarily, you want someone that can pump out a ton of damage, or a hunter is extremely useful. Ranged characters probably have some of the best advantage in the game. Number 3 is if you need preferably you'd like a healer, someone that can heal or sustain an insane amount. So someone like a Hercules, someone like a Chalk, someone like Hel, Aphrodite, or even Ra are extremely valuable characters in this game mode. Does that mean that you will automatically win with one of those characters? No, but it's extremely nice. Another big key type of class that you would like is a range class. Pretty much almost every hunter in the game is very useful in this game mode. Does that mean you need 5 hunters? No, but at least 2 or 3 hunters would be ideal in a team composition. And someone that has a high CC is devastating in this game mode. Someone like Zeus, like Kukulkan, someone like Poseidon are examples. Of course, those are all mages, but primarily someone with a lot of CC can be extremely powerful in your arsenal. So don't worry about, oh, I need to make sure I have at least one guardian. Oh, if you could get a guardian and a warrior, if you could get a general team comp in this game mode, then you've lucked out. Does that mean you'll win? No. It's partially about being able to know how to play your god and hopefully having an advantage over the other team. If you have a team that has a lot of tanks, you probably won't do as well. You'll survive well early game, but in the late game stages when you can't pump out that amount of damage, you're really going to be at a huge disadvantage. So I would say that just don't worry about team comp as much. It's not as useful. The other big difference in Assault than any of the other game modes is you cannot return back to the home base until you die. So when you're in mid-match, if you're low on mana or you're low on health and normally you would teleport back quickly back to the base, you cannot do that in Assault. So, and even if you're Chang'e, a lot of people that when they're Chang'e think, oh, I can send my rabbit back and she can get me all my stuff, and the rabbit does not work in Assault. Hi-Rez was smart enough to know not to do that, or else Chang'e would be overpowered. Even though Chang'e is very good in the game mode, she cannot send her rabbit back to get her supplies and sustain her throughout the match. So don't go into Chang'e thinking, oh my god, I'm going to be the most OP character now in this game, because you're not. But having a Chang'e still is very useful. She can heal and does a devastating amount of CC. Remember 2 big keys that I just mentioned earlier in this breakdown. Then the next major thing you're going to want to do after you do all the other things that we just mentioned is you're going to want to have sustainability. So hunters, get Blood Forged, get lifesteal of some kind, preferably for a ranged character. It's going to help you sustain early game. If you're a mage, primarily Chronos Pendant, get that CC, allow yourself to do the extra damage. One of the other big key things in Assault, you cannot have stackable items. So you cannot have Book of Thoth. Things that are stackable, but the main stackable items that have like 75 stacks, 50 stacks, things like 100 stacks, things like that, you cannot obtain in this game mode. So don't go in there thinking if you have a pre-made build that has stackable items and think that you'll be able to obtain those items, because you will not. So don't worry about stackable items at all. Just focus on trying to pump out as much damage and sustain without a stackable item. So that's why Chronos Pendant is so almost necessary early game for a mage. Another big tip, don't buy boots first. Buying boots first is, in my opinion, a huge waste of resource, because you get 3,000 gold to start, and that's a lot of gold to start any match. You don't have that much in any other game mode. So focus on making sure that you get a big key heavy item that's going to do the most for you early game and sustain you the longest throughout the course of the entire match. Sometimes assault matches can be very quick. If you have a really shitty team comp, you're going to die very quickly in assault. If you have a solid team comp, you can sustain a lot longer. Sometimes teams will be less aggressive in assault. They'll stay close to one of their 2 towers that you get. You get 2 towers of Phoenix, and then you get the Titan. It's similar to Joust in the fact that there's one main lane. However, there is not different camps, and there's not camp buffs throughout the course of the map at all. There are no jungle buffs of any kind in Assault, so don't worry about that, or don't focus on that either. You just want to get to that Titan as quickly as possible, or hope the other team quits out at the 10-minute mark, like happens decently often. If your team is at a severe disadvantage, that's when you're at the highest for something like that. So as you're seeing in the gameplay footage, I'm playing Amazon Cobb. Now, Amazon Cobb is by no means my best hunter. I'm not big, and I'm not very effective, I think, with his basic attack, as I am with some other hunters. I feel much more comfortable with the basic attack of other hunters. And some people will say, oh, well, Drew, there's not a huge difference in basic attacks with hunters. Try playing someone like Honor, and then playing pretty much any other hunter, and please tell me that there's not a difference in how the basic attack looks and feels when you're throwing on her spear versus somebody else, like you're using Cupid's bow and arrow. I think there's a difference. It's subtle. It's by no means a huge game-breaking difference, but at times it can really almost trick your eye into thinking that you're doing something completely different. But I digress. This isn't about Amazon Cobb and the flaws that I have with him, but you'll see in this gameplay footage, if you're paying attention to it behind me as I'm explaining this, that my accuracy is pretty trash. It's not great in this gameplay footage, and I partially apologize for that, but the big thing is that I want to show you is the sustain and how you sustain with an assault. Generally, being overly aggressive is not the way to go. If you have a range character, use the range to your advantage. Remember, you can't go back and heal, and that means that they can't either. So if you can sustain, if you can focus on keeping your mana at a good rate and keeping your health at an even better rate, then you're going to be the most successful in this game mode. One of the best items in Assault as well is Meditation Cloak. Get Meditation Cloak because it heals you, it also restores mana, and it does it for both you and a certain aura radius for your team. If you get as many people as you can to get Meditation Cloak, hopefully in the early game, unless you're playing someone that you will need beads for, like an Ares or a Zintin or any of those, I would highly suggest that Meditation Cloak be the main focus for all 5 of your teammates. Get Meditation Cloak as much as you can. It is extremely, extremely useful and will help you exponentially in all phases of the match time. But as you notice in this gameplay footage, because I survived for so long, I'm able to level up pretty darn good in Assault. You can level up pretty high pretty quickly, and if you get a nice big chunk of gold, like you're seeing that I'm gaining down in the bottom left-hand corner, if you have a nice big chunk of gold, then you just get a bunch of items that you can buy when you go back to base after you die. But again, this gameplay footage is old, so there are some items that you'll see in this gameplay footage that are currently not in the current game. So I think I might buy Hasten Vitalis in here. Hasten Vitalis is no longer an item within the game, but you can get Hasten Rain, which is very similar and still, and in my opinion, close to as in the same effectiveness as Hasten Vitalis. I think Hasten Vitalis was a better item overall in the previous meta, but it's currently not active in the games. Am I saying this is the best build guide for a hunter? No, but I tried to build based on the team composition that I played against in the game mode, which is of course the most important part about any game mode, is to pick your composition based on who you're playing against, not necessarily what game mode you're playing. If you just stick to a standard basic build in every single game mode, you're not going to be as successful in Smite. It's just the way it is. That's how MOBAs generally work. Play based on what you're playing against, not what you're playing with. there is a ton of damage potential with this team composition because we have no tanks of any kind, but we do have a healer, and the healer basically at times in this game mode can kind of make up for the fact that you don't have a super tanky style player. But it's still, because you look at this team composition on the other team, they have 2 tanks with a Gab and a Ganesh, and you think, oh man, they're going to have the total advantage, and they have a Hell as well. However, it's also built on skill base. Skill base can also play a huge part. Our Hell did a phenomenally better job, my friend Sean, than the other Hell that's in this game mode. And they have 2 assassin-based style characters in Alcon and Kali, and generally assassins, not the greatest thing in this game mode. You're not going to see a lot of people getting Loki and just completely dominating the battlefield, because assassins have to get up close, and in this game mode, because you can't go back and heal, it puts you at a huge disadvantage. You have to be up close, and then you can't get away as easily, or you have little to no health once you're out of a major team fight, things like that. You see here, I was able to get a decent amount of kills so far, and I've got a huge influx of items immediately when I went back to the base. That's one of the big things with the amount of gold, which I got a ridiculous amount of gold in the 9,000 range before I died, which is just insane. And are you going to get up to 9,000 gold before you die most of the time? No. But the other major thing is, as you progress through the game longer, your cooldown as far as your death will be greater, which is that way in most big objective-based game modes, things like Conquest, things like Clash, things like that. If you die in the later focuses of the game, then the cooldown you're going to have is much, much greater. So sometimes it can be tricky as far as knowing the right time to die. But if you want a tip on the right times to die in Assault, generally you want to try to die when there's no other enemies around or very few enemies around. The best suggestion I would make is if you think you need to die, you have a ton of gold, usually in the couple thousand range, try to let a tower or minions kill you. Try not to let another god kill you, because all you're doing by letting another god kill you is you're giving them gold to help them level up faster. So if you can allow a tower to kill you or minions to kill you, you're just going to be not really benefiting them, but you're not going to be really hurting yourself quite as much. Because, I mean, if you're going into any game mode thinking, oh, I'm just going to worry about my KD and not necessarily winning, then I don't really want to play with you. And I don't know many people that probably play this game that would want to play with you if that's the reasoning behind what your decision making. But again, hopefully you don't die in the late stages of the game, because that's when the cooldowns are the most ridiculous. And you can have some pretty substantial cooldowns, and the fact that you have less players for your team, and it can make your team very difficult for them to hold out and win a match. Primarily, all this video was supposed to primarily be about was not necessarily my crappy gameplay footage, although I do get a decent amount of kills in this game mode, but it was more so just trying to give you some tips of how to play Assault a little bit better. And these tips can pretty much be rampant in pretty much any specific god. I didn't try to focus on any specific type of god or any specific god itself. This was not an Amaz and Cobb build video for Assault. But I do think the build is still really viable. I think it's still a pretty solid build of what I end up building for him. Is it the best? No. I'm by no means trying to say that I'm great at Assault building. If you'd like to see some builds for Assault or any specific game mode, please leave a comment. Please let me know, and I will do my best to bring that out for you. I do play a variety of different game modes. Conquest is not my most played game mode, however, but I do, in fact, plan on probably posting some Conquest gameplay here in the future. I've started playing it a lot more, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit better of a hang on it. But I'm by no means saying I'm pro in any stretch of the imagination on any game mode. But my most played game mode right now is Arena, which, as you see in most of my videos, for my Smite videos on the channel, have been Arena-based builds. I do play a lot of Clash as well, and Assault has been one that a lot of my clanmates, again, have been focusing on a lot more lately. So, hope that you found the video helpful. Hope this helps you be better in your Assault gameplay going forward. I know that, I know it helps me a lot, and it's helped, this is strategies that we've kind of built with me and my clanmates throughout a lot of our Assault gameplay. We've been playing a pretty decent amount of Assault, and we seem to win more than we lose. But again, a lot of Assault is luck. If you get a good team composition, you're going to be the more successful. If you just get a crappy team comp right off the bat, don't expect to have fun in this game mode. It can be extremely frustrating. I get frustrated with this game mode oftentimes more than I do have fun playing it, but a lot of my clanmates really enjoy playing it, and I would prefer to play this game with other people than by myself, so I will sacrifice a game mode that I'm not entirely super pumped about to play with my clanmates. And maybe that's how you are too. If it is, I would highly suggest, if you have a full team of 5, go play Assault. It's a great time with a whole bunch of people that you know and trust, and that hopefully are good at this game. And it's a great way to learn a variety of different gods because you're forced to play gods at times you don't normally play. That's another great thing about Assault, is it sometimes will force you to play gods that you don't normally play. So keep all those things in mind when you're playing this game. Again, hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please leave a like on the video. Please comment down below if there's anything that you felt I missed, or again, if there's any builds that you'd like me to do, or any specific things on Smite you'd like me to do. And really trying to grow Smite on this channel, so any feedback would be supportive. I really hope you guys enjoy the video. I enjoy making these videos for you guys. I'm going to continue to try to pump out as many as I can here going forward on the channel to try to grow the channel as best I can. But until next time, my name is Drewzy. Peace out, everybody.